Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go to Richmond Raceway here in both the Truck Series as well as the Cup Series. No Xfinity race in this episode there, as you see the standings currently on your screen. But of course we got to catch up with Erik Jones and how he did here in the Truck Series at Richmond. And this track, Richmond, definitely my worst short track on the NASCAR schedule and one of my worst tracks as well just in general. So my expectations coming into this race always not very good. So I was not looking forward to this one, and I remember when we did the truck race here in our rookie season a while back, this was one of the worst races we had all season long. So definitely not sure what to expect coming into this weekend here for the Cup Series for us, but hoping that we can probably just get a top 20 out of it. That's really the main goal right now. But Erik Jones started well outside the top 10, about the mid-pack area here as he dives down into turns 1. So already knew coming into this race that just like myself struggling at this track, well, it was also going to be a struggle for the 51 truck of Erik Jones as he went down into turns 3 on the outside there of the 10 of Jennifer Jo Cobb. Now as he came through at turns 4, completing this first and opening lap. But yeah, just like I said, just kind of knew it wasn't going to be a good race here for Erik as he qualified so bad. He's obviously got the win so far, so he's locked into the playoffs as long as we don't have a whole bunch of different winners now. As he came through a little bit later though in this race, he lost a spot to Zane Smith, and Erik, unfortunately, instead of moving his way forward like he usually does, he was falling backwards here in this race in Richmond as he gets passed by Austin Wayne Jordan Anderson would also come through and pass him on the inside as well. So it was really just a downfall at this point here as he came through, just trying to hang on at this point. There's the 3 of Jordan Anderson would finally clear him there out of turns 2. Would come through a little bit later. You can see how far those trucks had driven away Anderson himself. Way ahead now as he would also now get passed by the 20 of Spencer Boyd. So just hanging on for dear life at this point Erik was, and as he came through now on the final lap here in Richmond, just terrible it was, unfortunately, here for us in Richmond as he came through out of turns 2, heading down this back straightaway for the final time here in Richmond Raceway now as he dives down into turns 3. There you see, I think that is Clay Greenfield lurking in the back, but Greenfield nowhere near close enough as Erik Jones crosses the line there in front of Greenfield there, Clay Greenfield for P23. So very, very disappointing to say the least. And now I was a little bit concerned, of course, going into the Cup Series there, but you can see the rest of the finishing order in the trucks. Grant Enfinger won the race, Austin Hill second, Stuart Friesen up there in third. We even have Tanner Gray up there in the top 5, and Matt Crafton did round out that top 5. But now it was time to get going here for the Cup Series. You saw Erik Jones was P9 there in the point standings after Richmond. Of course, we'll look at the playoff grid at the end of the episode now. But we got the Sports Clips paint scheme back on the car. I really like this paint scheme now. We're not going to run it a whole lot this season. Obviously, DeWalt's the main sponsor now as we dive down into turns 1 here on our qualifying attempt. So the goal was a 21.090. I was definitely not confident in beating that goal at all here as we get out of turns 1 and 2 pretty well. We dive it down into turns 3 and 4 and get through here pretty well as well. So I felt like it was actually a pretty good lap there as we come through crossing the line. We beat our goal, but only go P17 here in Richmond. So we beat the qualifying goal and we still did not even get a top 15. So that made my concerns even higher at this point. And on the pole, it is going to be our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate of Denny Hamlin, who has, 3 wins this season, or 2 wins it is? 2 wins, I believe he does have now, as Chad Fincham starts in the 40th position there. And now as we have Microsoft Flight Simulator back in the videos now, as you see Richmond here, as we do just a little flyover, and in the distance, Richmond, such a urban kind of racetrack here, as you can see the actual city there of Richmond there, just in the distance now, as we're ready to get underway here at Richmond Raceway. Now this is actually a day race here in this first event of the season of 2. There is a playoff race, I believe, just a little bit later down the line, of course, and that might be a night one now, as you see Denny Hamlin looking very fast coming into this race. Matt Kenseth failed pre-race inspection, so he'll be starting at the back of the field, moving us up in 1 position there from 17th to P16 as we're ready to go green. Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch on the front row as the green flag is out, and we are underway here in Richmond Raceway, just behind the 21 of the Wood Brothers, driver of Matt DiBenedetto now as we dive down into turns 1 on the outside of the 4 of Kevin Harvick. They're already getting just a tiny bit into the back there of the 21 now as we go down this backstretch side by side with the Pennzoil 22 Ford Mustang of Joey Logano now into the corner. So being on the outside, I knew I was at a disadvantage, just trying to get down as quickly as possible, but at the same time I was just trying to make sure we didn't fall too far back, so I didn't want to really just give up the spot. Now as we dive down into turns 1, Cole Custer is able to get up my inside. Custer has been just kind of relevant enough to be right in that playoff picture now, but if he keeps racing like he is this season, he's probably going to be a first round elimination if he does make the playoffs now as we come through out of turns 4. So Custer gets past us, but we're able to get into the inside lane just in front of Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace, another driver to keep an eye on. He's in the playoff picture as well, and sure enough, on lap 3 coming to lap 4, he got up my inside. We're now 3 wide in the middle between Bubba and Matt DiBenedetto now as we dive down into turns 1, and unfortunately I was going into the corner, hitting the brakes, and the car just sometimes was refusing to turn, so we just kind of were having to deal with that. We did pass DiBenedetto and continue though moving, at least trying to move forwards now as we got to the inside of Ryan Newman, and then once again the car just does not turn, and now Chris Buescher takes us 3 wide as we exit turns 4 on the inside of Newman, and then I'm starting to lose the back end of the car. Now as I was noticing, the car was really starting to get loose on me. We were only a few laps in at this point. Once again, car doesn't turn after Almirola got past. We're now on the inside of Newman and Chase Elliott. 3 wide here as we go down the backstretch, but Ryan Newman was giving me a bit of a hard time. There's you see again, he lunges up our outside as we're going to be still side by side with Newman. Elliott fades back. We're now P18 side by side with that 6 car. Sure enough, on the exit of turn 2 now on lap 8, you can see how sideways I am. Newman, of course, not helping one bit by just continuing to be kind of a bother now as we come through out of turn 2. Now the 21 gets to my inside. The 6 refuses to give up. I got fed up at that point. I just hit him on purpose and sent him sliding into turns 3 as we come through. He saves it as we exit turns 4 on lap 9. Newman probably not going to be very happy about that, but we would have to continue on our way. We lost some more spots down into P20 at this point now as we go down out of turns 2 on lap 12. You can see just how loose the car was now as we would lose another spot to Ty Dillon, and then Ryan Newman actually ran me back down. I did not fight him this time because clearly I was just hanging on for dear life. So far the worst car I've ever driven, but there you see out of turns 4, David Reagan blows a right front tire, nails the outside wall, collects Bobby Carter, as well as the 66 of Timmy Hill, the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. involved, and the caution, of course, is going to come out. We are going to come into the pit lane. The AI, they're staying out, but obviously I'm in a big problem right now, so I decided we have to come to the pit lane and do whatever we can here to fix this car because it was getting loose after only like 5 or 6 laps. That's a huge issue, especially if you look at that third and final stage, which will be probably over 35 laps or so. So definitely have to fix this car now as we would pit, like I said, lose 17 positions, but I was hoping that we would have the right adjustments in the car to where we won't have to worry anymore after that. Now as the green flag is back out and the AI did not go there, so I got into the back of the 51 of I think that's Joey Gase now, as we have just 2 laps to go actually here on stage 1 now as we dive down into turns 1. So at this point I thought there was still going to be like 6 or 7 laps initially. When I realized there's only 2 to go, I decided we're going to actually play it pretty safe here in the end of the stage because now we can stay out at the end of the stage when the AI are going to pit, and therefore we can cycle out as the leader. They're getting very close with the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I was just talking about playing it safe, and then you see me doing that now as we come through turns 1 and out of 2. Bobby Carter on our inside as usual. 73 car in the way now as we go down this backstretch into turns 3 for the final time here on stage 1. Denny Hamlin wins stage 1, and we're going to get P37 here in the first stage. And I didn't take that as a loss because it was pretty evident with the car that we had before the pit stop we were not going to get stage points anyway. So P20 to P37 makes 0 difference really. So now we though are going to stay out at the end of stage 2 while the AI come into the pit lane. Jimmy Johnson picked up a 3rd place finish there in stage 1, so 8 points to him, but we are now going to be the leader here in Richmond now for stage 2. I was hoping that the car was going to be okay here. Obviously, I wasn't sure what to expect quite yet with the adjustments because I couldn't really get a feel for how the car was and all that traffic, but the green flag is out. Stage 2 underway. Denny Hamlin has a terrible restart on my outside as we dive down into turns 1. Kevin Harvick just behind myself now as we exit turns 2, but he's already closing up on the back of us here down the backstretch into turns 3. Jimmy Johnson up into 3rd place. He goes up the inside of Kevin Harvick as we exit turns 4, and I already felt the car getting just a tiny bit loose, and that was a huge concern because I look up in the top left Stage 2 is 36 laps. That's almost double the length of the first stage, which was very confusing as to why that was the case. But Johnson, he moves through into second. I'm already losing the handling of the car on lap 4, so Johnson closing in. I realize that I'm in trouble already, so I just stay out of the way. I say, Jimmy, just take the bottom lane. His final season, he comes through to lead a lap here in Richmond Raceway with 32 laps to go in the second stage. Kyle Busch gets to my inside. I had nothing for him, and then Clint Boyer passes me. Kevin Harvick passes me, and now everybody is starting to come through and pass me, including Cole Custer, who's now up inside of the top 5. Kurt Busch gets on my inside as well, Kurt Busch being one of the fastest ones now, but I would fade all the way down now into the 10th position as we came through on lap 9 of the stage. Ryan Blaney as well at my inside as Jimmy Johnson continued to hold on to the lead at this point. Newman gets up my inside as well, as I just had nothing for these guys. We come through now on lap 10. Chase Elliott gets into the mix as well, and he's just going to blow right on by me. So now I'm just hoping that we get a caution very quick. This is easily the worst car I've ever driven so far in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode there, as we nearly bend it right there, and I hit the wall there as we go down towards turns 1. Now Keselowski's going to just slide into the side of me now and go up the hill into the wall. I hit him on purpose. Now I'm just trying to wreck him at this point. Big contact on the exit of turn 2. We all keep it straight, but I will not lie at all. I was 100% trying to wreck him there. Now as the 10 sideways, he saves it as well. What the was the 2 doing right there, dude? I have absolutely no idea what's wrong with him. There you heard the radio transmission from myself. Definitely not very happy there, as we actually have problems now into turn 3. Ryan Newman blows a right front tire, and that's going to bring out the caution. He collects the 9 of Chase Elliott, even the 19 of Truex getting a little bit of contact as well, but that was right in front of us here as that brings out the caution. Obviously, that really saves us. I'm coming to the pit lane again to make more adjustments. I put the wedge up even more. We're now down into 37th again here for the start of the restart. Now Ryan Newman's still in the race. That did not take him out, as he will be back right behind us now as the green flag is once again out. This will leave us 20 laps to go here in stage 2. Kurt Busch out front at this point. Obviously Kurt had a terrible start to this race season, and now here he is actually up into the playoffs now as we come through turns 1 and 2. Got very aggressive there of the inside. 4 wide it was with Bobby Carter there for a moment now as we dive down into turns 3 behind the 43 of Bubba Wallace there in the RPM car now as we come through out of turns 4. Just in real life today, as I'm making this video, Bubba Wallace announced he will not be back in that 43 car in the future for next season. Could that mean he might not be back in the 43 for our career mode next season? We'll have to wait and see now as we dive down into turns 1 of the inside of the 37 of Chris Buescher. We passed him, not Chris Buescher, sorry, Ryan Preece now as we would pass him and then get up the inside of Joey Gase that was, and then we would work our way into the top 20 passing Cole Custer now up the inside of the 17 of Chris Buescher. But then I go into turn 1, the car did not turn, and that allows Harvick up my inside as we nearly clip the 9 car of Elliott down the backstretch now as we go down towards turns 3. So now, though, up into P17, but unfortunately, I kind of got up into this area after passing Chase Elliott, and then I started to feel the handling once again going away in the car, and I just did not understand it at this point because we've been adjusting the car so much, and it's just not working. We passed Hamlin, but once I passed Hamlin, that was pretty much all I had because we come through now on lap 28. Newman, on his fresh tires like myself, would run me down. He would pass me without a problem. We were now down into 16th as Kurt Busch continued to lead the way with 8 laps to go in the second stage. Now, as you see, a lot of multi-groove racing up in front of us now as Hamlin, though, runs me down with 7 to go. I don't fight him at all. I said, okay, you can have the position because it's pretty evident I have absolutely nothing for these guys right now as the car just still was driving like trash now as we dive down into turns 1 with just 2 to go here in the second stage. Now, Ty Dillon was running myself down. He was bringing Justin Haley into the mix, as well as Kurt Busch started the final lap of the stage. We come through now to the final lap of stage 2 ourselves, through turns 1 and out of turns 2, trying to run down Hamlin. Now, as we exit turns 2, very sideways down the backstretch, we make a big save now as we go down towards turns 3, losing a spot to Dillon and Haley, and then 10th place is going to come through, though, to cross the line. So P19 in stage 2 as we nearly completely destroyed the car there as I clipped the apron out of turns 2, and it looked like I was going to go nailing the wall, and then thankfully we kept it off the wall, but then I almost spun it to the inside wall, but we still managed to save it at the end of the day. So that was the main thing. Terrible first 2 stages so far, and obviously more adjustments being made. This time I put the wedge to 50.4. This is the biggest adjustment I've ever had to make to the wedge ever in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode now, as I put the tire pressures back down to 30 on the right side and was just hoping that this would give us a fighting chance for a decent result here in the 3rd and final stage. Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin on the row in front of us. Kurt Busch and Ryan Blaney on row number 1 as the green flag is back out, and the third and final stage is underway here at Richmond Raceway. 39 laps to go, which is only like 3 or 4 more laps or something like that than we had in stage 2 now as we dive down into this first corner. Tyler Reddick on that third groove already. Someone took him 3 wide into that first turn now as we go down this backstretch side by side with Justin Haley as we dive down into turn 3. Another driver competing for Rookie of the Season or Rookie of the Year. He won't be in the mix though by the time we get to the end point of the season there as we complete this first and opening lap of the third stage. Kyle Busch took the lead from his brother of Kurt Busch now as we come through out of turns 2. A little bit of contact actually with the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Then we get loose on the exit of the corner and hit him again as we dive down into turns 3. That was not on purpose at all. Now as he's sliding into the corner into the side of us, and that completely hurts both of us now as we're down to 24th, Hamlin 23rd here as we complete that lap. Now Stenhouse gets in front of us into 22nd. We got to get out of the range of Stenhouse. That obviously is a danger zone now as we come through out of turns 2. Going down the backstretch, we clear Hamlin into turn 3, but then Kevin Harvick gets into the side of Matt DiBenedetto, collecting Kurt Busch and Christopher Bell. The green flag actually stays up, but you can see how packed together they are up in front of us now as we actually pass Stenhouse. We would run down this group of cars. Bubba Wallace, Kurt Busch, all of them drivers up there kind of in that front little spot of this big group here as we come through, passing Ross Chastain nearly into turns 1 as they're going to go like 3 and even 4 wide on the exit of turns 2. Jimmy Johnson being very aggressive there as we're going to go on the inside. An absolute mess right there as we dive down into turns 3 behind us, or sorry, in front of us. Matt DiBenedetto just blew a tire, and that's going to bring out a caution here with 34 laps to go. And now everybody coming to the pit lane, including myself here for half a can of fuel. I threw 4 tires on it. I didn't make any adjustments. I knew the AI were not going to take 4 tires in advance. I'll tell you guys that now. I did not screw up. I just knew they were going to take 2 tires, but I decided our only fighting chance was to get fresher tires here because we know that we just had such a bad car here today that if we took 2 tires like the AI, we were probably going to fall down to like 25th to 30th. It was going to be that bad now as we dive down into turns 1 of the inside of Timmy Hill, and then we're going to go 4 wide or something like that on the inside of Bobby Carter because it's Bobby Carter. Now as we go down this backstretch, he's been in our way quite a bit this season, so can't feel bad for taking him 4 wide. But we would work our way up into 23rd position very quickly. A little bit of contact there with Matt Kenseth, but it was okay. And then Ryan Newman was actually out front here in Richmond now, is actually behind us. Tyler Reddick got moved out of the way by the 9 of Chase Elliott, who's trying to fight his way back. Chase Elliott seems to struggle quite a bit at the short tracks in this game so far now as we dive down into turns 1, and we would work our way up to P16. We passed Kevin Harvick. We got up the inside now of Chris Buescher, but then Clint Bowyer had taken the lead away from Ryan Newman. Clint Bowyer never had a win in the NASCAR Heat 4 career mode after all those seasons, and here he is in our rookie season of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here in the Cup Series. Clint Bowyer trying to get that first win now as we come through up into P14. Then on lap 79, just a little bit over 20 to go, we passed Joey Logano up into 13th now. The best we have run all day other than when we were leading due to the strategy cycling us out front now as we get up the inside of Watermelon Boy Ross Chastain and clear him out of turn 4. Now up into P12 with 20 laps to go. Bowyer still out front, but then, well, guess what? The car starts falling off again. So Kevin Harvick, he gets up my inside, he passes me, and then we got Chris Buescher who gets up my inside as well, going down the backstretch into turns 3, and the same situation as we've dealt with all race. We fall down now to 16th. Bowman passed us, Suarez passed us, Hamlin I thought was going to pass me, but he actually started falling down a little bit with myself. Logano gets past me now on lap 87, but Truex was now out front past Clint Bowyer, and then Hamlin now is actually going to get up my inside as I'm just hoping that it stays green and we don't get grouped up with anybody. As you can see, the car is slipping and sliding on the exit of turns 4 with 13 laps to go. Ross Chastain is going to pass us along with the 8 of Tyler Reddick as well. So we're going to drift down into 20th place here in Richmond there. Now as we come through a little bit later on lap 92, the next group of cars has run me down. DiBenedetto, who blew a tire, has run us down and passed us. Now as Clint Bowyer was actually back out front at this point in the late stages of this race. Chase Elliott gets to my inside. We're going to drop down to 22nd place as we get into the outside wall on the exit of turns 4. Kenseth goes by as well with 6 laps to go here in Richmond now as Kenseth goes up the inside of Chase Elliott now as it's such a disaster right here in Richmond now as we're slipping and sliding there, but we hang on. We come through to now 5 to go. McDowell had gotten up my inside as well. Almirola into the mix here through turns 1 and 2. At least there's some large names in the back with us now, so I don't feel as bad now about running terrible as we come through now on at lap 97. We lose a spot to Almirola, approaching 3 laps to go, but then the caution comes out here in Richmond, and that's going to force an overtime restart. Now, Matt DiBenedetto brings out another caution. This time it's clearly an engine failure, and now we will get ready to go green for overtime. And to be honest, overtime is not what I wanted to see. Probably the same thing for Clint Bowyer, who has the JGR duo of Truex and Kyle Busch right there with them now, as our teammates have a chance to steal this win, as I had so much wheel spin on that restart. Now, as we're P24 here for overtime, hopefully we can at least increase our position as we come through, getting into the back there, just a little bit of the 9 of Chase Elliott, as well as a little bit of contact with the 16 of Haley. Of course, it's overtime. Anything goes at this point. Bowyer, he actually moves up a lane into turns 3, coming to the white flag, and leaves the door open for our teammate Kyle Busch, who's looking for his first win of the season, as I get so sideways as we come through. Starting the final lap, Kyle Busch side by side with Clint Bowyer for the lead here on the final lap, and sure enough, out of turns 2, Kyle Busch takes the lead as we're slipping and sliding, hanging on to P24 as they dive down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And for the first time this season, the 2019 Cup Series champion Kyle Busch wins in Richmond. There's contact with the 9. We hang on at the line, actually losing that spot there to the 3 of Austin Dillon to finish in the 25th position. An absolutely terrible race for us. Like I said a couple times, that was the worst car I've ever driven so far in NASCAR Heat 5. It just did not do anything good for us. Very, very unfortunate. Kyle Busch steals the win away in overtime. Kurt Busch in 3rd, Clint Bowyer, of course, 2nd. Bowyer would have loved to win that race because it would have put him in the playoffs. Right now, he's just barely on the outside looking in, if I'm not mistaken, which we'll see here in just a moment. But like I said, very, very disappointed with the performance there, but definitely we're going to have to fix something when it comes around to the second Richmond race in the playoffs. Now, in the next one, we're going to Talladega, so anything can go there. We could have a surprise winner. The first plate race this season, of course, at the Daytona 500, we had a massive underdog winner, a rookie of Chad Fincham going to victory lane, but Fincham is now outside of that top 30 in points, so he's no longer in the playoffs. But there you see Jimmy Johnson, 8 points out. William Byron, 19 points out. Clint Bowyer, 36 points out. He would have been on the inside if he would have held on there on that 2-lap shootout in overtime. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. There is now, we're the only Joe Gibbs Racing driver without a victory already at this early point in the season. Only 9 races complete. So hopefully in Talladega, we can change that and make it all Joe Gibbs Racing cars with the win. We'll see you guys in the next episode for Talladega. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.